Now through April 3rd, save $300 on the whole ball of wax at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. The whole ball of wax includes just about everything at the site, and when you use the code SPRINGRUSH at checkout, we will instantly drop $300 off the already amazing low price. Details are in the show notes.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no-nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, really quick, I wanted to do a podcast here letting you guys know of a couple of new exciting resources that we have at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com and really dive deep and drill down into one or two specific topics, mainly speaking, which is knowing your numbers. Now, I don't think there's been a more talked about, discussed, buzzworded, impactful conversation or word than knowing your numbers the last couple of years in the podcast land, the YouTube video land, conferences, training courses, coaching calls, so much else than the topic or phrase of knowing your numbers. And so what does that really mean? Well, what I heard the last couple of years, and I mean through hundreds of podcasts, hundreds of coaching calls, is still the need to actually know what the heck that statement means. Now, here's the deal. If you want to watch 10 hours and 20 hours of content and figure that out and go get QuickBooks certified and understand your bookkeeping and learn how to run your own books, and you want to create budgets and you want to understand the projections in your business and all these different things, that's fine, that's cool, that's great, that's what you need to do. But at the end of the day, if there was a calculator that could figure all this out for you, and you could figure this all out in 15 or 20 minutes or 30 minutes or less, plugging and chugging and figuring out how to know exactly what your labor rate is, to figure out and know exactly what your overhead is, to figure out exactly what your overhead cost recovery is, to figure out how to price your lawns, and then also to take those numbers and punch them into a budget to understand your cash flow projections. Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, at the end of the day, I love all the content that's been talked about through this conversation. But my gosh, why isn't there a resource where you could just plug and chug? Well, there is in certain softwares like Synced Up and LMN, and even some of the larger ones out there, where you can literally price your work knowing that your overhead cost is going to be recovered. You're going to have a certain profit margin made as long as you stay within budget of what you put together. Companies like Synced Up and LMN, shout out to those folks, that is part of their robust software and their product suite and their offering. However, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, if you're looking for a CRM, which is like what's going to manage and store all of your customer data and your jobs, your tasks, your calendar, all of your customer info, Yardbook is free. Jobber is, I don't know, $50, $100, $150 a month. I don't know how much Jobber is. I don't use Jobber. I use Yardbook. No slate, no hate. They're great too. But long story short, if you want to go with LMN or Synced Up, these softwares are $300, $400, $500 a month. And unless you're running, my humble opinion, a $750,000 to $1 million plus business, I don't necessarily think that those CRMs are for you. If you're doing $30,000, $50,000, $250,000, $400,000 in maintenance and simple landscape jobs, then I don't think you need to drop, $400 a month on a CRM. Now, again, you do get the upside of getting access to their powerful software to help you calculate a lot of these overhead cost recovery programs and systems and being able to price and track your jobs correctly. But here's what I wanted to do. A little over 6 months ago now, I finished up this resource in the late fall. We went into the winter season. Nobody was really talking about knowing your numbers. It's more of a lawn care season buzzword. And so I just sandbagged. And we were putting some final touches on this product. I seeded it out to a bunch of friends and said, hey, give me your honest feedback and assessment, good, bad, ugly. Nothing but great feedback so far. Praise the Lord. And so what I wanted to do is drop this resource now. So you guys can start working with it and working on it now to help you better understand knowing your numbers. I mean, at the end of the day, what we did is we created a calculator to help you figure out how to recoup your overhead, how to make profit, and what to charge for a lawn, and also what your man-hour rate is. And then you can take those numbers and plug them into a budget and plug them into a cash flow projection to help you know what kind of money you're going to be making this year. It is a very simple resource. I think we have it priced out introductorily at $99. I think we might raise the price in the future. We'll see how it goes. I'm not selling it for anything less than that because it cost me a gob and dozens and dozens of hours to put this thing together, working back and forth with some people that are very adept with Excel. And so I wanted to make this resource available to you guys because I don't think everybody needs to pay $400 a month for, robust software if you're just running a simple lawn and landscaping business. Now, that being said, you do need to know your numbers. You do need to know what does it cost to make profit with all the equipment that you have, all the labor you have, and through all the labor hours that you guys actually work. So what I want to do is I'm going to break this calculator down for you guys. I'm really, really excited about it. I think it is one of the best resources. I think it's the best resource in terms of making money that we have available at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. I really do think that it can be transformational for anybody who takes a look at it and plugs it into their business and can start figuring out the prices to charge and how to start making real profit in their lawn and landscaping business. This is no hyperbole. This is no hype train. I'm not here to hype it up. I'm not here to sell you guys on it. I'm not here to convince you guys on it. I'm just letting you guys know, for those that are serious out there that want to make money and get a better hold on their numbers, this is the number one resource that I'm going to be recommending from the top of my lungs for probably the next 4 to 6 months. And I mean that sincerely. I really want to get this resource in everybody's hands if possible and as possible. I believe, by the way, if you guys ever need to pick up anything at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com, which is our training and resource website, you can use promo code podcast to save 10% site-wide. Also, starting today, quick little plug here, is that the whole ball of wax is on sale for $300 off now through the end of April, which is a freaking crazy deal. And the whole ball of wax is everything on the website, all the courses, all the contracts, all the documents for $300 off. Right now it's priced at $14.99. And you can get it for whatever that would be, $300 off. Is that $12.99 or $11.99? Whatever it is, $300 off. So promo code podcast will save you 10% site-wide. And then promo code Spring Rush, all one word, will save you $300 on the whole ball of wax now through April. After that, the price may go up in the summer. We have a bunch more resources coming out later this summer, and then a couple winter resources already for next fall that are already completed, already done, and we're just sandbagging for it next year, which are going to fill in a couple more missing puzzle pieces to the snow side of the industry, which I'm so pumped about. I.e., think about calculators. Okay, here's the bottom line. Here's what I want to talk about. For me personally, I am a recovering detail head. I've become a little bit more big picture the last 5 years, but that doesn't mean that I'm not in the trenches and in the nuances of all the details to understand what I'm trying to do with my life, understand what I'm trying to do with my businesses. I'm just talking personal experience here. I'm not trying to sell you guys on anything or convince you guys on anything. I'm just telling you guys, for me personally, I've had to understand cash flow, and I have to understand, what am I trying to build and what am I trying to do with the company that I'm trying to put together? There's a reason we do lawn maintenance and not landscaping. There's a reason why we're moving towards a lot of commercial work with predictable snow and predictable salt clients and services that we offer. We're looking for regular cash flow so I can build other investment strategies and my life and my lifestyle based off predictable income. And so what I do at length, ad nauseum, is for every single thing I've ever bought or looked at or want to get in the future, outside of paying cash, sometimes for the larger things, you have to finance those naturally, a shop, a mortgage, so on and so forth, at least initially. I am a huge nerd for calculators. I love going to mortgagecalculators.com or whatever their place is, auto calculators, financial investing calculators, dividend calculators. I love talking about reinvesting for gains with your dividends or your interest and watching compound gains. I've spent hundreds of hours late night punching in numbers, scenarios, examples, projections. And I don't know if you guys can relate. I mean, outside of going to Audi.com and buying an Audi and looking at different things, I'm thinking okay, this new Audi S6 is, $900 a month or whatever it is. Who knows? Who cares? What would I have to build to offset $900 a month in income? Maybe you want to pay cash. That's fine too. If you want to pay cash, God bless. That's cool. But if you want to start getting ahead and you want to grow your company, you do, unfortunately, and I know this might sound like it's an unfortunate, but it's the reality of mature business. Like you have to spend time in your numbers. You have to spend time with your CPA. You have to spend time with your bookkeeper. You have to pay attention to how you're running your business. It's not, I'm just telling you, 2023, it's real, authentic lawn care on my podcast. And that's what I'm talking to you guys about from the tip of the mountaintop, as long as I can, is until I'm blue in the face. You have to spend time in your business looking at your numbers if you want to get a hold on making this thing make profit for you. It's not just run out the door, go cut a lawn and make $40, $60, $80. It's not just go out there, sling 8 yards of mulch, charge $800, you make half that profit, so on and so forth, right? You have to spend time in your numbers figuring out where are you at, where have you been, where are you at, and where are you going with your business. And if you don't have cash flow projections, if you don't have budgets, if you don't know what you have, and then where you're trying to go, I will promise you, this isn't like motivational talk. I will just promise you, you will not get there. You will not get your goals. You will not get your dreams by happenstance, chance, luck, or any other thing in between. I heard somebody say, why aren't there more millionaires that win the lottery? Because millionaires realized a long time ago that there is no such thing as luck in terms of getting rich. There's no luck to getting rich. There's no, I'm going to play the lottery and get rich. You've never heard of a millionaire winning the lottery and becoming more of a millionaire. It doesn't work that way. Now, don't get me wrong. There's still luck and still good graces and favor and faith and some different things that come into play. And I believe there's, there can be a quickening and, jubilee, right, to get you to where you need to go. But if you are just going to throw caution to the wind and just hope that you walk into a $100,000 a year income, nice home, $500,000 home, or whatever it is for you, or just walk into a $60,000 truck, like, dude, it doesn't work that way. And I never want to put out any content that just says, like, dude, do the work and you'll get paid and it's like easy. Like, dude, you run a real business. At least that's what I'm trying to teach people is we run a real company. And in the beginning, you don't know these things. I didn't know these things. Maybe you came from, you read How to Read P&L Statements for Dummies. Maybe you went to, you read How to Read, Bookkeeping 101 for Dum-Dums, I don't know. And I'm not making fun of that. I mean, there's some great resources out there like that. It's a great place to start. But if you don't know better, you can't do better. And so for the last 5 years, all I've been doing is big picture on my business plan, but I have been very detail oriented in what we're doing to make income, have projections, finance things, pay off things, get ahead, slingshot in some approaches. And it's all been very intentional. Not like a, dude, we have it all figured out, because you don't have it all figured out. You can go walk out the door tomorrow and go get hit by a bus. But in terms of why do we have the trucks that we have? Why have we rented? Why do we have storage lockers? Like, dude, everything is by design. And I don't like all of it, just so you guys know. I mean, I don't like throwing away quote unquote equity, renting from storage lockers or renting an apartment, but everything is by design, including how we run our business, the way we take our accounts, the way we have credit on file, the way we have our commercial agreement set up, the way we're moving to flat rate monthly pricing for a lot of our snow work, the way everything, dude, every single thing we do. I'm a risk tolerant person. I don't mind risk, but I don't like guessing. Right? I don't like guessing. I'm not a guesswork kind of a guy. I've never have been. Everything we do is methodical, it's critical, it's thought out. Not that we're gurus, not that we have it all figured out. No way, shape, or form. I have it more figured out for me. Now, what I'm doing is working for me. It's making money. We're making money. Our business is growing like crazy. My guys, they're making money, really good money. Now, I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to project you. I'm not here to tell you, hey, if you do this, you'll be a millionaire, or hey, do this, you'll make $100,000 a year. Nothing like that. Nothing we say we can ever guarantee, quote unquote, with the podcast, with Lawntrepreneur Academy, with the YouTube channel. It's just good advice or just suggested advice. By the way, there's a bunch of people that put out advice too. Not all of it's good, right? You have to distill and decipher and discern who's putting out valuable content, who's putting out garbage content, who's putting out good content that, hey, maybe it's not for you right now, and who's putting out content where you're like, hey, I don't really know about that, but you know what, maybe in 5 years I'll come back to that, right? And who are you hooking your caboose up to, right? All that kind of stuff. again, I'm not here to convince anybody about anything that we have going on, but what I will tell you is that I spend, I'm just a detail head. Other people, they're funny. Other people, they crack jokes. Other people, they're sanguine. Other people, they can talk on stage and rock it. I can hold my own, but that's not my personality type. My personality type is, I will take risk, but I'm very risk adverse. I will take risk, but I'm risk averse. I like predictability. I don't like guesswork. I don't like guessing. I don't like chance. I'm a bit, I'm a Christian, but I did not live by faith, not by sight, right? I'm a very pragmatic person. I'm a very dude, I want to touch it, taste it, see it, smell it, and all that mess. That's why it took me a little while to come to Christ, because how are you supposed to do all the above and believe in Jesus? Now, that's a whole other podcast for a whole other time and cross that moat later. But I'm just trying to let you guys know that when we put something out, it's not to make a buck. It's to make something available to you guys that I think will help you grow and empower you to win in your business, or at least just get you one step further, one step closer, add in one more jigsaw puzzle piece to the puzzle to help you guys put your whole jigsaw puzzle together, right? I don't think there's any one resource or any one coaching call or any one podcast or any one YouTube video or any one life experience that's going to put it all together for you. I haven't found it works that way. Now, sometimes you might get a nugget or a piece of info or advice or suggestion or coaching call or thought process, and that puts in you have an epiphany, and that might put in the whole big piece for the sale. Like you had this big jigsaw, and then you had this microcosm piece that was 12 little pieces together, and you just didn't really know when that fit into place. And then all of a sudden, you realize, boom, it snaps into place, and that's the back end of the sailboat. Right? That's what we want to do. Is I want to give you guys these puzzle pieces and these little jigsaw puzzle pieces to help you stitch together your thought process, your business, your life, for your philosophy. You can't just say, I'm going to do what Brian's Law Maintenance does or what Brian's Law Maintenance did. It just doesn't work that way. And so the reason I'm on this whole rant is because when I tell people how to run a business, you have to realize I'm giving suggestions, or other people are giving suggestions. We're giving suggestions and advice based on what we've personally did. But what we've personally done and what you're going to do are not going to be the same, because you're not in the same market. You don't have the same equipment. You don't have the same overhead. Your living situation, your marital status, your child status, your risk tolerance, your financial IQ, all these things are different. Not negative, not down. Doesn't mean anybody's better than you. You might be, an 8, as a parent. You might be a 2 when it comes to financial literacy. That happens all the time. There's great pastors and Christian people out there, but they're financially broke. They're so frugal. They're so naive. They're so ignorant. They don't know how to run their finances, which is a travesty, because Christians should be the most blessed people on planet Earth, in my humble opinion. Right? And so what we want to do is give you some extra puzzle pieces in every podcast show. A little bit more on faith, a little bit more on family, a little bit more on finances. Of course, a little bit more on the X's and O's about lawn care, right? It's real, authentic lawn care. The tagline for the podcast is Lawn to Lessons Life. That's why we talk about a smorgasbord of a bunch of little topics to help give all these little puzzle pieces, because every single day, everybody's looking for a little bit of a different topic. Today, we're talking about making money. Today, we're talking about knowing your numbers. So here's my preface. When people call in for a coaching call or an email or a DM, or I see, and I've watched many other people's YouTube videos, I should say. I've watched many other people's YouTube videos about knowing your numbers and figuring out your rates and figuring out this stuff. And that's fine. That's cool. But again, it's not case specific to that business owner, because every single business is different. There is no Brian's Law Maintenance up in Michigan that at 100% parallel paths works with somebody else in Orlando, Florida. It doesn't work that way. By the way, there's not one single business, again, in Michigan that 5 miles down the road is similar to Brian's Law Maintenance's business. Our cash flow is different. Our clientele is different. Our payment terms are different. Our credit history is different. Our payment repayment process terms are different. The way we bill is different. Per push, per charge, prepay, post-pay, every net, net 30, net 7, net this, bill weekly, bill monthly, net 50, all this stuff. So I'm always hesitant when people, ask, and we do coaching calls, hey, can you help me figure out my numbers and know my numbers? Sure. But you got to realize, dude, that's not a 1 hour phone call. Usually it's a 20, 30 minute segment of a 1 hour coaching call. And I've done hundreds of them like that. And dude, we really start breaking things down. And usually 9 out of 10, not just because I'm a hero, but because I've lived this, 9 out of 10, if not 9.5 out of 10 or 95 out of 100, people go, dude, thank you. That helps me understand the puzzle piece that much more. It's not here's a final bullet, because eventually what it comes down to is man hours, what you're charging, and what your overhead is. But again, there's so many variables. So that's what I wanted to do. I'm not trying to sell you guys on this. I'm not trying to convince you guys on this. I'm just trying to let you guys know exactly where this is coming from. What we did in a nutshell is we created a resource where you can look at it. First off, I wanted to create something that it was easy to use. Because here's the thing, like I heard Jay-Z say once, I dumbed down for my audience, I doubled my dollars. They criticize me for it, but they all yell holler. And so that's always been a mantra, a marquee of mine, is teach on a third grade level, right? It means to make the message broad enough to where the simpleton, myself, not you, myself, not only A, could understand it, but B, if I had to teach it to somebody else, I would have to believe that they could learn it too based off of the level I'm teaching at. Not that we're dismissive, not that we're patronizing, not that we're, treating people like they're toddlers. Dude, none of the above. But come on, dude, relate with me here for a quick second. Has anybody ever talked to you about something and you go, man, I have no idea what that guy's talking about? Sounds good, sounds motivational. You get amped up and pumped up for a quick minute. But dude, that motivation leaves you and then you're left with what? Reality. And sometimes reality is more scary than, anything because you have to live with what you have. And for some people, that motivates the snot out of you. And other people, it scares the hell out of you. I've been in both scenarios for a long time. I had no idea what we were supposed to be charging because I didn't know my overhead. I didn't know how many hours we were working in our business. We didn't know what profit percentage we were making because it was all based on what was left over. It wasn't like, oh my God, we're going to hit 25% profit this year, come hell or high water. It was kind of a reactionary business model. Just like my taxes, just like my bookkeeping. It was the shoebox full of receipts. You guys have heard me talk about this for a long while. My first 11 years in business were abysmal. The last 5 years have been pretty solid and getting better every single day. We don't have it all figured out, but I'm very proud of where my business is at. And a lot of people lose interest in the journey of other people because everybody wants to see the struggle, but then some people start to quote unquote make it. And then the flip side is people start saying, well, that guy's a sellout or that guy is unrelatable anymore. Dude, I know exactly what so many people are going through. And that's what I want to do is continue to keep leaving breadcrumbs for the people that are one step behind me or 10 years behind me. And again, not just me. I'm just another dude. I'm just another guy in the process. There's so many of you listening in that are leaving breadcrumbs for me, right? And there's other people I learn from and listen to that are teaching me. So we're all part of this process. And by the way, you guys are doing the same thing. There's guys that you guys reach out to, talk to, friends, buddies, relatives, neighbors, cousins, nephews, uncles, doesn't matter. And they're all interested in starting a lawn care business. And you guys are turning them on to great thought process, leading them in the right direction, sharing great valuable information, resources, so on and so forth. So even the newest guy, if you're already listening to one show of mine, you're already a veteran in the industry. And you already have something to offer the newest guy that's Googling how to start a lawn care business. Does that make sense? So we're all in this together, okay? That being said, this calculator I'm extremely excited about, okay? It's $99, and what you can do is you can download it. It's extremely simple to use. It's extremely simple to look at, and it's going to help you finally understand knowing your numbers. Here's what I wanted to write down really quick. I am looking at my notes. It's going to help you track 8 different categories. Number 1, your labor rate. People are like, hey, man, you got to know what your labor rate is, your man-hour rate. Sounds good. Help me out with that. What does that actually mean? If you pulled 9 out of 10 people, they would have no idea how to answer that question. Number 2, recover your fixed costs. Number 3, recover your job expenses. Number 4, it'll give you a rate to cover your expenses. Like what percentage is your overhead cost recovered? What percentage of your business is overhead? Number 5, it'll help determine a profit margin factor for you. So if you want a 10% margin in your business, like LMN suggests, not a bad start. I think it's kind of low for the work that we do. I think 10% is pretty minimal. But if you want to run a 20, 25, 30% margin, I would suggest you put that number in. Put it at 30, pad stats, and maybe you'll come out at 25. But for the love of God, don't put in 15 and then have your numbers a little bit padded and come out at 12%, okay? I think a 24 to 25% margin is pretty fair in our industry. Last year, we ran 24.6% margin. I think recently I heard Jeremy Connect, JJ Grounds, great guy, great friend. He said that he ran something similar, like 24% in his business. I think that's a pretty awesome place to be if you can get there. Now, again, everybody's business is different. We would have had 26, 27% if we didn't drop 10 grand on a piece of equipment and $20,000 on our truck. We probably would have had 25, 28%, 30%, right? So that's the thing. Like, it's not always comparing apples to oranges because business is a forever growing and forever developing thing. So one guy's like, I made 18%. Another guy made 24%. And people would be like, well, the 18% guy sucks. Well, the 18% guy might have bought an $80,000 mini excavator. It's not fair, right? It's not fair to look at businesses because rarely is it ever apples to apples. And that's why I'm always interested in talking about this topic on a coaching call, but I'm very hesitant to give just a text message or an Instagram DM piece of advice about how to figure out how to know your numbers. Number 6, based on hours worked. This is the biggest part that never gets factored into how to run a real business. It comes down to production. It comes down to man hours. It comes down to how many hours are getting worked into your company. Dude, no matter what anybody else ever says to you, log it into the back of your brain. It comes down to how many people are working to cover that overhead, recover that overhead, and generate profit. For example, if you own a burger shop and it's open 10 hours a day and you make an A+ burger, but McDonald's opens 10 McDonald's in your area and they're also open 10 hours a day and they make a crappy burger. In terms of revenue production, you might make a 5 times better burger. But in terms of revenue production, McDonald's is going to kill you because they have 10 restaurants and you have 1. That's why franchising and that whole system is so popular in the last 3-4 decades. Okay. Similarly, if you're a solo owner operator and you're looking to run your business, you can only generate so much revenue because it's determined on how much work you do. Even if you're an artisan landscaper or an artisan horticulturalist or an artisan fertilizer guy, or you're in an artisan nature or fashion and you're in the highest end homes, you can do above average, right? You can work your guts out, no doubt about it. We all have done it. I've done it. You can charge a premium, no doubt about it. But even if you're an artisan person in a premium area, you're still limited on your production, right? Where one guy might have been able to generate $150,000 as a solo owner operator, you might be able to, squeeze in $180,000. That's great. That's better than $150,000. But no matter what, if you have another company that's got 8 guys, and I don't care if they're all hillbillies, and if they're still churning and burning 8, 9, 10-hour production days, 12-hour production days, even if they are a B in business, a B in finance, a B in equipment, a B in quality, a B in image, a B in professionalism, that group of 10, all operating at 80% capacity, will still smoke the guy who's an owner-operator or that single restaurant. It's just simple math. Now, that being said, and this is what I wrote this whole chapter in my book. I rarely talk about this stuff. It's not like a secret. It's just an epiphany I had the last couple of years. Like, it's common sense when you hear it out loud, but nobody's really addressing it. And everybody's like, well, I'm afraid to hire. I'm like, that's fine. You just have to be happy with where your income is at because you can't outproduce. You can only work so much in a given day, week, month, and year, right? This is like kind of common sense stuff, but you don't know if you don't know. So people are like, well, I'm afraid to hire. I'm like, that's fine. You'll just have a limited income. It's not bad. It's not good. You have more control, no doubt about it. You have less headaches, issues, concerns, but your income is going to be capped out. So when you're talking about knowing your numbers, people are like, well, you got to know this and you got to know that. Dude, what about how many labor hours are you trading in your company? How much production are you running in your business, right? And when? What seasons? What months, right? You might be paying your guys $18, $20 an hour and you're like, well, I'm knowing my numbers. And the next guy might be paying $23 an hour. And you're like, dude, I'm paying less or paying more. Like, that's fine. That's cool. But it doesn't matter compared to the total hours production and the overhead you're trying to recover. Similarly, you might have $30,000 dump trucks. The next guy's got $50,000 dump trucks. Some guys might have $25,000 plow trucks. I've got a $95,000 plow truck and setup. What I have to charge to recover my overhead and make profit on a $95,000 snowplow setup is going to be drastically different than a guy with a $20,000 plow truck and plow setup. Right? What he's paying his guys, I pay all my hillbilly buddies $15 an hour. I'm looking for career guys that I can keep on payroll and pay them year round. They're making $45,000, $50,000 a year or more, right? Like our labor rate, our overhead, everything is going to be different. So there's no way you could answer this question in a 20 or 30 minute call. There's no way you can answer this question, honestly, in a 20 or 30 minute podcast. That's why I wanted to build this calculator. Not for me, for you guys. I've ran my numbers the last 5 years. I built this thing 6 months ago, 5 months ago. I punched in all my stuff. We came in with 1% of where we were at to where we were projected based on this calculator. I'm very, very proud of it. I'm not saying it's a silver bullet. I don't think anything ever is, but this is a great tool. It's not the only tool, but it's a great start. You want to pay $400 a month for LMN synced in? That's fine. That's cool. Like, dude, rock and roll. Like, whatever you want to do. The conversation about knowing your numbers means two parts. Number one, let's start having more conversations, maturing and realize that we own a real business. And then number two, let's start dialing in and driving down on things that we need to start factoring, paying attention to, and evaluating monthly, right? That's a mature business owner. And that's what I'm seeing the people that go from $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 businesses to $80,000, $100,000, $250,000 businesses. Those are the guys going from $250,000 to $500,000 to $1 million. There was just an article in Lawn and Landscape magazine the other day, AFIX, and they went from, a couple million to 18 million in 12 months. They cleaned up their numbers and they cleaned up their clientele list. Nothing else changed. Their attitude changed. Well, their mentality changed, their attitude changed. They said, we're going to run a real business. And shout out to those guys. And they went from a couple million on life support to 18 million. They had 80% revenue growth. You don't do that without knowing your numbers. They didn't just throw labor at it. They didn't just throw guesswork at it. And this topic fires me up because, dude, at the end of the day, like, if we're already going to work and we're already going to freeze our tails off in the winter and we're already going to sweat our what's off in the summer and we're already going to miss family time and we're already going to miss music class with our daughters, we're already going to miss baseball lessons with our kids or vice versa, and we're already going to miss time from date night because we have to work late. Like, dude, at least make it worth it. And I'm not saying making $80 to $120 an hour is worth it, but my God, it'd be better making $80 to $150 for your labor rate or whatever you want to charge instead of making $20 or coming home at the end of the day, the week of the month, and realizing that one stupid breakdown, one stupid repair, one stupid tow bill, one stupid mower catching on fire, one, clipping of a mailbox that costs you $500 on your trailer. At least that doesn't throw your whole week, month, or whatever out of sync and out of whack, and you don't make profit. Like, we all work way too freaking hard for this stuff. Let's make money. You have to know your numbers to be able to know how to make money. Like, it's the good old, you got to know where you're at to know where you're going to get. Like, you gotta figure this stuff out. So, let's do this really quick. I put down the final rate to charge. That's the biggest question I get to is, how do I price my lawn care customers? Can I just level with you guys an industry pet peeve I have? Is just this flat, $20, $25, $40, $45, $50, 58, $55, $60, $75. I cut an acre for $100. Riddle me this. I'm not a guru. I'm not anything. My name is Brian. I'm your friend, like John Maxwell. But have you ever went to a store and you walked in there and you went to buy a can of aerosol can of air for your computer to blow out that or a fan, and it's $5? Have you ever bought a ceiling fan and it was $100? Have you ever went and bought a banana and it was $3? Have you ever bought a RC car and it was $250? No real business runs that way on their pricing structure. Now, two people out there, right? One, you know this and you just round up, round down. That's fine. That's cool. I get it. Number two, you don't know what you don't know. And we're here to fix that. But there's no other product. There's nothing else on planet Earth other than a concession stand that rounds up for $8, $7, $6. And I wouldn't exactly put the popcorn vendor guy as a true business owner. He's self-employed. He's making kettle corn, fantastic, rock and roll. I buy bags of that stuff all the time. But I'm not going to give that guy credence that he's a business owner that has his costs and his numbers all dialed in. That's a guy who is retired, who doesn't want to work for the man, and he just wants to get a truck and he wants to go to, shows, and that's fine. That's cool. God bless him. But my point is, dude, nothing else on the planet rounds out with $1, a $5, a $10, a $20, a $50. So why are we pricing our lawns at $35, $40, $45, $50? Why is the number one question, other than how to get new customers? Number two, why is it that every single person asks, hey, what is your minimum? What are you charging? What's your pricing this year for lawn care? Is it 40? Is it 45? Is it 50? And here's the thing. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but just let's be obvious and let's just call a spade a spade. I do a video and I say, my minimum is $40. And then the next guy says, you're an idiot. My minimum is $50. Think about it for a second. That guy is calling me an idiot, or you an idiot, or whoever an idiot. Somebody's calling somebody else an idiot because they're charging a lower rate. And in that same breath, that guy's revealing his hand, saying that maybe I'm just digging into a little bit deep here, but let's just call a spade a spade. That guy's saying you're an idiot for charging what you're charging because he charges more. And I would have to believe, why is your price not $52.39? Why is it not $49.89? Well, customers don't want to pay $49.89 for a bill. Well, back in the day at TrueGreen, there was no solid numbers. It wasn't 18, 36, 42. It was always 42.39, 38.75, 51.62, 71.43. There was never any flat rate pricing ever because that's not real business. No business ends with a whole number unless it's a photographer or a concession stand guy. And I'm not being mean, but let's be real business owners. Let's talk about it. Is it okay? Sorry, I'm the bad guy here. It is what it is. But I'm just trying to help people understand, why is your minimum 40 and not 42.38? Now, if you want to round, if there's 20% of the people that are operating this way, hey, it was 42.38, so we're going to round it up to 42.50 or 43 or 42. Look, dude, that's fine. That's awesome. That's cool. Run with that. I don't think you need to go to percents, for your charge. I don't think everybody this year should be at 38.55 or 39.16 or 44.21. If you want to round up or down 25 cents or 50 cents or make it a whole dollar, that's fine. That's cool. But at least know what you're doing. At least know why you're doing it. Don't let the blind lead the blind, right? It's so alarming. Again, people are like, hey, what is your base rate for plowing snow? Not the get you gotcha moment, because we have all of our base rates. I said it's my base rate in our commercial account, but that's based on my company, my overhead, and what we want to make as profit. By the way, we are hyper aggressive with our profit. We're very, very lean people. You might want to have less profit to reinvest into more things because you're on the grow. We're on the grow too, but I don't need to buy anything new. We have everything that we need. We've been doing this for 16 years. The last 3 or 4 years, we've accumulated a lot more crap. Those guys get a bunch of free stuff from YouTube. Dude, it has nothing to do with that. I get a free mower once every other year or two. Everything else we have, we've bought. Give me a break. Hopefully that one has just died out from ignorant, stupid people. I mean, my God. They're the same people. I charge $45 for a cut. What's your numbers? What's your margin on that? Do you know how much does it cost to run your zero turns? Do you know how much it costs to put a mile on your truck? Do you know what it costs? What do you actually profit for every lawn that you mow? I do. I know 24% on our number is our true profit after everything. So if you're making a lawn, cut it for $50, you're like, Brian, you're only making, $15, $18 profit. You're like, oh, there's no way. Dude, when have you ever spent time looking at your numbers? And I'm not getting anybody's crap, but it's just so alarming to me because every podcast is knowing your numbers. Nobody explains it. Then on YouTube, the actual medium that I could show visuals, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And so it's like, I'm damned if I do, if I'm damned if I don't. And it's so alarming. It's so frustrating. I want to put videos like this on YouTube, but they get 1,100 views. And then the algorithm says, you suck. Your channel sucks because nobody wants to watch it because you put out crappy content. It's the best content on all of planet Earth, relatively speaking. But, brand new skid steer, brand new tractor, brand new this, brand new Encon, brand new, this, $100,000 that, $500,000 this, before and after, blah, blah, blah. Bro, that's not going to help you run a real business. That is not going to get you steak dinners, nice watches, music lessons for your kid, babysitters, nannies, your wife out of a job, your wife in 6,000 pounds of steel called an SUV, a home, a dream home. Because if you rent your home, your dream is a home. That's ours. Now we're sandbagging because we want to build a nice home. We kind of skip that, first home step. We're in our late 30s. We wanted to wait. We were getting our money right. We want to have kids, blah, blah, blah. But that's still a dream. But you have to understand there shouldn't be guesswork in your business. I guess that's my biggest thing. I'm sure I've overhyped up this. Let me put this. I'm overhyping knowing your numbers, hoping that you meet me halfway and at least hype up enough to go look at your numbers and call somebody. Call your bookkeeper, call Cycle, call Bedell, call anybody. Call anybody. Call John Paycheck. I don't care. Know your numbers. Now, that being said, I'm not going to hype out the resource. It's a calculator. It's very simple. Half hour, plug your numbers in. You should be able to know your price, your labor rate, your man hour rate. Plug in all your hours. You should be able to know how many hours you're working in your business. That is going to give you, you price in also in the top section, how long it takes you to complete a lawn. That's going to times that by your percentage rate of profit, your desired profit rate. That's going to give you the price to charge for a lawn. And then, of course, like I said, round up plus or minus 50 cents. it's concerning to me when people say, how much are you charging for a lawn? It's so relative. It's not even funny, right? Then number 2, and I got chastised for this because I said, my favorite tool, I get, the question, what's your favorite tool in business? My favorite tool in business is my stopwatch. It's not subcontractor agreements. It's not my Exmark mower. It's not my F14 stupid snow power plow, which I love. It's my stopwatch. Because in a service business, we're trading time for money. We're trading production for money, right? At the end of the day, you have to know how much time, yes, your material costs if you're a landscaper, but how much time, how much labor you're putting into the job. I talked to Troy Clogg. Hey, I can't wait for you guys to build a backyard patio for me, blah, blah, blah. It's probably going to be, $100 grand, $200 grand, who knows, whatever. He goes, awesome. I said, hey, I might be able to work some angles with YouTube, get a couple sponsorships. We'll see where it goes. He goes, that's cool. I said, what do you think it's going to do for me? He goes, not much. He goes, Brian, bricks are bricks. Whether you get them for wholesale, whether you get them for free, or whether you pay $5 grand for a pallet, or whatever it costs. I don't know. I don't care. He goes, you got to realize it's the labor to put in the patio. He goes, so it's still going to cost you a chunk. We'll take care of you. He goes, work whatever angles you want. That's fine. Who cares? But he goes, it's still labor to put in the hardscaping, the patios, the landscape, the lawn, the fert. It's labor. It's labor. It's labor. It's labor. And if you don't know your labor rates, if you don't know the costs, and if you don't know the time, specifically, if you don't know the time that it takes you, then again, we could talk about everything all between on the calculator and all these other different variables and facets. But if you don't know the time it takes to mow a property, who cares? And again, it takes you 25 minutes to cut a lawn. It takes me 25 minutes to cut a lawn. My overhead cost recovery might be $45 per man hours. Yours might be $25. Yours might be $120. It's all relative. Okay. In which way? That's my new baby. I think it's worth $250 to $500. Dude, a real program like this, like a robust software, is going to cost you thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. I asked Corey Ballard, I said, hey, his company had a, snow calculator. Said, hey, you want to make that available on Lawntrepreneur Academy.com? He goes, no, not exactly, because they have $50,000 into it. So I built one on my own. No. I didn't build it on my own. I hired a bunch of professionals to make me one, and then we could, through the opportunity of leverage and scaling with LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com, I can have 100 people, 500 people buy it for $100, make my money back, and then make profit, because everything's for profit. You have to. But that's the power of what we're doing with social media. That's the power of what we're doing with Lawntrepreneur Academy. That's the power of what you guys are doing. Like, you guys are sewing into me, and I'm going out there and not buying Lamborghinis. I love to buy a Lamborghini. Maybe in 4 or 5 years, I'm working my guts out to get there, just like you guys are. But in the meantime, we're reinvesting. And so, like last year, somebody's like, how can you spend $250,000, $300,000 reinvesting into your social media? Dude, everything we have, Mr. B style, is going back into funding the goose that lays the golden egg. Maybe one day we'll extract profit out of it. But in the meantime, everything comes in, books and programs and courses and acquisitions, like this stuff, dude, it's like real stuff, folks. Like, this stuff is tens of thousands of dollars. It's costing me thousands to put together a book. I mean, I make 25%, I think, on a royalty when you sell a book for $12. What is that, Paul? $3? Dude, into 3,000, 5,000, bro, you gotta sell 1,000 books to even make your money. It's insane. And people are like, you're giving it away for free, charge 10 times more. Yeah, we could. I'm trying to find that happy medium, right? I want to help the new guy. I want to help the new business owner, okay? This is going to be my favorite resource for sure. If you guys have feedback, if you guys have comments, if you guys have concerns, if you have questions, if you get stuck, shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to help. This can at least give you the bumper bowling. This can at least give you the bumpers to start figuring out where you need to be. From there, then you can have more intimate conversations with a financial coach, a business coach, your accountant, your bookkeeper. Does that make sense? But we have to start the conversation. By the way, I'm not giving it away for free, because you have to put some skin in the game with anything in life if you want to take it serious. Just like, people want to do free stuff all the time. That's fine. That's cool. I give away free stuff all the freaking time. But there's just something about paying $50, $100, $200, $400 for something and you treating it serious. I'll tell you what, like, you buy a commercial contract for $50, you got some skin in the game, you're going to go bid out some commercial work and you're going to go make that money back. First off, if you're out $50, life goes on. No big deal. Go pick up pop cans, let alone go mow one lawn, you're good to go. Okay. But for $100 for a profitability and cash flow calculator, I'm telling you, the same resources available inside Element and Synced Up and those kind of guys, and they're charging $400 a month. Of course, it's a full suite of services, but You don't need to spend $400 or $500 a month for that stuff. If you want to, great. You'll dial in these numbers exactly, right? You have day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour, week to week, job to job projections and know where you're at. But for the love of God, if you use a resource like this, at least you'll be in the realm of where you need to be. Okay. That is the Know Your Numbers, Profitability and Cash Flow Calculator. I'm telling you, I am not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I am not the brightest bulb in the hallway. I am not any more talented, smart, good looking, none of the above than anybody else listening in. I guarantee you everybody's better than that. All I've done was look at my numbers, figure out how finances actually work, figure out humanity, like understand people, just be observant. Liz and I are people watching people. Like, why do people do what they do? Why do people buy? Why do people fall off? Why do people sell? Why do people say no? We've done that for years with our lawn and landscaping, but 17 years. We've learned a couple things. We're not finished. I'm learning new stuff about people every freaking day, from personalities to hot buttons to everything in between. But the reality is that you have to start paying attention to the numbers of your business. I'm not like, when I wanted to buy my truck, I ran the numbers. Here's what we need. Here's what we need to get to. Here's what we need to build. I want to buy something else. We pay cash. Okay, well, if we want to pay cash, we still need to figure out some simple math about how to create enough profit to be able to get it by when, to be able to buy it by so-and-so date. I want to build a home. It's going to cost X month mortgage. It's costing this much more than my rent and my land mortgage. I was paying X for this. It's going to be this much more for that. What do I need to do to build enough assets to bridge the gap to pay for XYZ liability? It's not like we're just going to bury ourselves in anything we ever buy. We're not dumb. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to put my family at risk that way. It has to be calculated. It has to be thought out. And it's just simple pen to paper. It's just spending some time on some calculators. I've spent a time on 100. I've ran those numbers by other people, educated people, way more smarter people than me. Say, hey, what do you think? Hey, have you ever thought about this? You ever considered that? Have you ever looked over here? I don't want you to get blindsided by a 2x4 over here because of this, because of that. Oh, no, I never thought about that. Somebody's like, I want to buy a $50,000 truck. I'm like, hey, have you factored in insurance? No. Have you factored in XYZ? No. Have you factored in like adding lights to it? No. $50,000 truck is cool. So you need $1,500 tires, $1,500 lights, and a $7,000 plow. And then it's going to cost you, $3,000 a year, $2,000 a year, $1,500 a year to insure it, right? And then gas, you're going to double your gas rate because you came from an F-150, with a 4 liter, whatever, 3, 4, 5, 6 liter, whatever, to a 6, 7 diesel. And it's going to be $5 in gas. You're paying $3 in gas. You're going to go from 18 miles a gallon to 12 miles a gallon, right? Like everything's exponential. That's fine. Just run the numbers. Just run the numbers, right? That's all you have to do. And you can unlock your future. You can unlock expenditures. You can unlock spending money. I heard John Paycheck actually on a podcast recently. He said, budgets don't, what was the way he said it? It was really, really good. He said, they're not there to confine you. They're there to set you free, right? Like budgets don't limit you. They give you the opportunity to spend. I thought it was the best thing I heard on that podcast. It was such a solid nugget. And John's a great preacher of know your numbers. You can go to his website and go down that rabbit hole. Okay. I just so freaking care about you guys. I know we promote a bunch of stuff. I know we've got a podcast, ratings and reviews, YouTube, social media. Dude, I couldn't care less about any of the hype, about any of it, if we're not making a difference. Like, what's the point? To pad stats from YouTube AdSense and to sell some courses? Dude, I don't even think I plugged the courses. When is the last time you heard me mention the mulch training course? Never. I'm like, yo, get some contracts, lock your work in, secure the bag, and let's go win. There's I think 61 resources now at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. Postcards, postcards, courses. I don't promote 55 of them, but it's a ridiculous resource. And then people are like trying to make some money off of people. I mean, not really, but if like we can give them the bag and we can help them secure how to start a lawn care business for $1,500 for the whole ball of wax, it sure beats a $100,000 franchise fee or a $50,000 franchise fee or a $12,000 franchise fee or anything. What, are you going to go to college and spend $150,000? They're going to teach you how to be broke. Why are you going there? $1,500, I'll teach you how to get rich. And then in 3 to 4 years, I think you should be able to materialize that. At least within 5 years. I think 1 to 2 to lay the foundation. 3 to 4, you'll start seeing breakthrough. And 5 years into this thing, you should be making $100,000 plus a year. If you want to grow a $10 million business, we'll lay the foundation with you. Nothing we say is going to confuse you with laying a $10 million company foundation. I still reserve the right to grow a $10 million company. I'm getting the itch. It's a whole other conversation for a whole other time. I'm just telling you guys, I care about you so much, more than you guys will ever know. We put these resources together. I have burned up hundreds of hours, tens of thousands of dollars, probably hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars of my own cash. Not in prayers of like even on ROI, although I hope we recoup our investment. But we don't have to do any of this. If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, my legacy would be my YouTube channel, LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com, and being the best dad ever that I could be at the time with my daughter. And just being an awesome, faithful husband to my wife. But I'm telling you guys, like, it's deeper than just making a buck. We make these resources for you guys. I'm just telling you guys, I'm putting my heart on my sleeve here. Number 2, Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2022 replay, that just became available, $75. Come on. Mark Bradley talked for an hour on stage. He's worth, I don't know his worth. He had a $50 million company. He's probably worth between 0 and 50 million. He could be worth 100 million. Depends on how profitable his company was. He had it for like 30 years. The dude could be worth 50 million. I'm not saying he is, but what if he was? When's the last time you got around somebody whose net worth is $1 million, $5 million, 20 million, 50 million? Go ahead. I'll wait. Shoot me a DM. If you have somebody that you have access to that's worth $50 million, shoot me a DM. Probably won't get any DMs that day. And here's the thing. And by the way, can you make money doing what they did? Like, okay, so you know somebody who's a famous athlete. Cool. Can you go throw a football or dunk a basketball like them? No. Mark Bradley speaking on stage for an hour, teaching you how to do what he did over the last 30 years. And you can get access to him and 9 other people, 8 more people, 9 total speakers for $75 for the replay. Give me a break. Give me a break. All right, that was 1 and 2, the calculator, which will be under the resource tab, under store, under LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. The replay, scroll all the way to the bottom of the store. It'll be under LAL replays. We had the 3 Spanish resources that just released about a week ago as well. So, si hablo español to all my Spanish-speaking friends. Those are the subcontractor agreement, the employee handbook, and the employee application. Those are all available for you now in Spanish. I had a bunch of people say thank you for making those available. You betcha. Appreciate my Spanish-speaking folks like crazy. They definitely outwork the white boys. There's no doubt about it. Any which way you want to say it. I love my Mexican and Honduras friends. But that's what I got for you guys. I just want to let you guys know that these resources were available, okay? By the way, if you have the whole ball of wax, you have free lifetime updates to anything we add to the website. I know a bunch of people that bought it at $249. We had 3 resources available. I'm like, hey, we're going to put a lot of stuff out in the future. You should buy this now. All that money that came in, we used it to build the foundation, the infrastructure of LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com. 2 years later, I think, or a year later, it was $4.99. 6 months to a year later was $9.99. A bunch of people bought it then. Super smart move. And then lately, people are still picking them up left and right, which is great. It's at $1,500. No doubt by the end of the year, it'll be $19.99 because we have 2 or 3 more snow resources and a couple other things we want to drop down the pike through summer. So that'll take it up to $19.99. So right now it's $1,500, $300 off with promo code SPRINGRUSH. If you guys want to get it and empower your business, fantastic. If you've gotten a bunch of stuff out of the content and you want to purchase it just to say thank you to Brian's Lawn Maintenance and all the crap that we put out for free, I've had a bunch of people buy coaching calls. Hey, they email me. I don't want to redeem this. I just want to say thank you. I want to say, please don't do that. Like, it's not needed. You know, people buy the whole ball of wax and like, hey, dude, just want to say thank you. I owe it to you to buy this thing because of how much free stuff you put out. Hey, if you feel obligated to do that, I'm not going to say no. I'm trying to build a barn and build a house. But at the end of the day, like, dude, we do this out of love. We just want to bless you guys so bad. If you want to pick that stuff up, dude, great. Don't let me persuade you, right? I'm not here to convince you. I want you to convince yourself. If you're going all in, I think there's no better thing you can invest in than the whole ball of wax. It's not just to plug it. I'm telling you guys sincerely. That being said, it's $14.99. Promo code SPRINGRUSH, $300 off now through April. That's your chance. After that, it'll be 2 Gs. One day it'll probably be $5,000, and it'll probably be worth $50,000 in total cost of the website. Do you know what I mean? We're going to keep giving you guys the tools, keep giving you guys the resources, keep pushing the mark forward. We're going to keep leading by example. Like I said, we're growing like a fertilized weed behind the scenes. I've never been more excited Our business is growing like crazy. And I'm not even like trying to grow the next $5-10 million company yet. When we do, you'll know. We are being smart, being conservative with our approach. I got to get out of the way, a house, a barn, all this crap. Like there's only so much I can do. And we're building the snot out of Lawntrepreneur Academy. I think by the end of this year, I'll have my message, quote unquote, out there on lawntrepreneur.academy.com. I think I'll be done having resources for a few years, I think. But then we'll probably, commit to a couple other projects. But there's so much going on behind the scenes. I'm so excited to help you guys grow. We're winning. You're winning. Hopefully you guys can feel it. Hopefully you guys can feel that I'm genuine. Hopefully you guys can relate. I see you guys growing like crazy too. It inspires the snot out of me. I just had my friend Henrik swing by the other day, bought a $90,000 cat skid steer. He's like, dude, you inspire me. I'm like, bro, this is inspiring the snot out of me. I come upstairs, Liz goes, what was that? I told her. She goes, holy cow, he's crushed it. I go, I know. She goes, what are we doing? I go, I know. We're working too, but I'm not in competition, man. Heathens compete, Christians inspire. I want to inspire you guys. Even if you're not a person of faith, that's fine. I want to inspire you guys to just win. And I know that winning in 2023 needs to be intentionality. You have to be intentional with winning. You're just not going to wind up at the finish line. Nobody's going to carry you there. You're not going to wind up there. You have to run through there and you got to smoke it. And I want to make sure that you guys have all the resources that you guys need to be equipped to crush it. Okay. That's what I'm doing for my business, at least. I can only speak from my own experience, but I've got hundreds, if not thousands of testimonies of you guys out there winning too. I think what we're doing is special. And if this show is helping you guys out, share it with another lawn bro, share it with a friend, share it on a Facebook group, whatever you guys can do to help it grow. If you haven't left us a 5-star rating or review, I don't know what you're waiting for. I got nothing left. We're pouring it out there on every single show. Thank you guys so much that have left ratings and reviews. And don't get soft on me. If you guys can, hit a 5-star if you think it's worth 5-star. If it's not, hey, give me another chance before you leave a 1-star. And whatever I can do to keep serving you guys and help you grow. All right. Over now. Stay tuned. That's what I got for the month of February. 5 new resources at lawntrepreneur.academy.com. By the end of the month, first part of March, I'm hoping to have my book available. I'm so excited about that. That is a labor of love. And a labor of money too. So any which way. Love you guys. Appreciate you. That's what I got today. Go check out lawntrepreneur.academy.com/store. Go check out the profitability calculator. Let me know what you guys think. Plug your numbers in, plug and chug, come up with some numbers, get a game plan for what you're going to do in 2023. Let's go out there and crush it. Over now, guys. Have a great day. We will catch up with you on the next one.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.